This week on Outdoor Oklahoma, we discover a whole other world when we grab our snorkels, wetsuit, and waterproof camera and take a look at the incredible diversity of the beautiful streams of the Ozark Plateau in northeast Oklahoma. From the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife Conservation, Outdoor Oklahoma. Well, hello and welcome to Outdoor Oklahoma. I'm Todd Craighead. Oklahoma is blessed with some of the most diverse streams in the nation. And even though biologists know a great deal about the many fish species that call these types of waters home, it's always exciting when they learn something new or a widely assumed theory doesn't necessarily hold true any longer. Today, we're going to explore the incredible diversity of the streams of the northeast Oklahoma Ozark Plateau.
Oh, just going to do some smallmouth research.
Sometimes when you go up to the nest, it'll look like there's nothing in it. What happens is that the babies are hiding underneath the rocks. So if you pick up a rock and look underneath it, you'll see those little babies still with their yolk sac swimming around. First born, when they first hatch, it's clear. They're nearly invisible, but the egg sac, the yolk, is white and yellow. Kind of awesome. pretty late in the year, and the later it gets and the more times they spawn, the smaller the number of eggs that they lay. But can you see those eggs? Well, those are clear. Look up ahead, there's a big flat rock to the right. If you look on that big flat rock, you can see from here that black Smallmouth fry.
This is a pretty cool day today. We're just snorkeling, and it's amazing because you look at this body of water and it just looks like it's water. There's nothing under it. And then you get underwater with a snorkel and a camera and you see so many different species. It's amazing that we have this stuff in Oklahoma and most people don't know about it.
You know, it's really neat for me too. We're out here every day, not that we take it for granted, but we see it and we appreciate it. And it's really neat to get to see the perspective of someone who maybe hasn't seen it before. Like Rachel said, there are 15 different species in this small little pool of water here, and this is unusual. We don't know what is so special about this spot. You can see it's got a lot of big rock and bedrock and gravel close by, but it is very unusual to see this many large smallmouth this close together. And I think I said earlier, this little spot here, I don't know, it's maybe 200 square feet, has produced close to 100 smallmouth bass nests in about a 6-week period. That's very unusual. So yeah, it's a really neat place. And like Rachel said, we have rock bass, we have long-eared sunfish, we have hognose suckers, we saw a sculpin, we have Neosho smallmouth bass. These are the special Oklahoma endemic strain of smallmouth that we have, the Neosho smallmouth. And this whole assemblage really we can't find outside of the Ozarks. So this is a really cool and neat place. I'm glad that Rachel got to come with us today and see that.
We're here on the Barren Fork River today and just got out of the water from doing some awesome snorkeling and seeing so many species with Brandon Brown, fisheries technician in the northeast region of the state for the wildlife department. And so tell us a little bit about what research you're doing on this part of the water and what's going on and what we saw today.
Well, we have several different projects going on, mainly with Neosho smallmouth bass. As you may know, the smallmouth bass we have here in the northeast part of the state is unique to this part of the world. It's unique to the Ozarks.
Sure.
It's called the Neosho smallmouth bass. It's a genetic subspecies. But anyway, we're looking at a couple different aspects related to their population growth and reproduction and so forth. One of the biggest projects we have going is looking at smallmouth bass reproduction in streams. That is, we want to know how many smallmouth are being produced every year and actually recruiting into the population, how many are surviving their first year. And then we are hoping to correlate that with water flow, the amount of water in the stream. And we'll need to do this over many years to get a good picture of what that looks like. And hopefully over time, we'll be able to say, this is how much flow we need for good smallmouth reproduction.
And then possibly predict where they may nest, or no?
Well, that's another important part of it. We are marking with GPS all of the nesting locations, and we're finding some really neat things. We're finding that there are a lot more nests than we first assumed there would be. Not only that, but some of the densities of nests in some of these reaches of streams are very high. Typically, smallmouth are pretty territorial. They don't like to be close to their neighbor. But what we're finding is that sometimes we find a lot of smallmouth nests in a very small area, very close together. And that it may indicate that some areas are really desirable for spawning. And hopefully we'll be able to predict where those areas are, to locate them, and then be able to protect them, in the future.
So you said that you're finding a lot more than you expected. Can you put a number on kind of a generalization of what you thought you may find and what you really found?
Well,
just a visual kind of.
Yeah, let me explain it like this. Again, they don't like to be close to their neighbor. They have large territories, but what we are finding is that they are very close together in some places. Now in a stream, it's risky to just go out and say, well, there are 150 bass nests per mile of stream, because we have to extrapolate that out. And in a reach of stream, much of that stream will be shallow water that the fish can't use. So it's risky to throw that number out there. But I can tell you, earlier this morning we snorkeled a hole upstream. And that hole of water is, I don't know, several hundred square feet, maybe 500 or 600 square feet. And so far this year, during the nesting period, we found approximately 80 nests in that small area.
Wow.
And we would expect to find 8 or 10 at one time. And instead we're seeing 30 and 40 at one time.
That's incredible. And people from first look, anytime you go to a body of water, you don't see anything, but the minute you go under the water with a snorkel, it's incredible the number of species you can find. And the common person may not know that. The anglers out there, sure, they're in the water a lot, they may know that, but still they're not seeing the stream fish as well.
Right.
And all of those things that they're not catching on a rod and reel. So there's about 175 give or take species in Oklahoma, and how many
Right.
can the average person probably name?
Oh, if they are an avid fisherman, maybe as many as 20 or 25. Of course, that means that almost all, 80% or more of our fish are unknown to the average person. Like you say, there's a lot more here than just smallmouth bass, and it may seem that we're ignoring those other species, but the truth is we're really focused more on community management than species. But one of the benefits of studying smallmouth is that if we create regulations or management strategies to benefit the smallmouth, it will also benefit everything else that lives in the stream.
And they're very colorful this time of year, breeding season. So we saw some northern studfish. We're seeing bluegills and long ears. So many things that with a little snorkel in 10 minutes of time, you're seeing a good 2 handfuls of fish and crayfish and everything. And so how do you guys explain community management, and what are the techniques that you're using with the smallmouth that may help these other fish? In what ways does it help them?
Okay, for instance, community management would be in the past, we used to focus on just one species, mainly sport fish, and things have changed a lot in the last few years. But now we focus more on the belief that, well, if we protect the stream or manage the stream, we're benefiting everything that lives in it. And this wouldn't just be stream fish. This is, we've seen reptiles, we've seen amphibians,
Yes.
insects, mammals, a lot of different things are using the stream. And it's worth noting that when we look out here, we see a lot going on, and you think, well, it just kind of takes care of itself. But this is a really fragile and finely tuned system. Everything has to be just so, and once things get out of whack on a stream, we can't put them back together again. So even small changes in the watershed or in the species community can have large, long-lasting and far-reaching effects.
Sure, and I mean, it's just a beautiful area. I don't know how you don't have that urge to help it, and that's one thing I would like the public to know is, you know, get out there, go see these things, but pick up the trash, educate yourself, go to the wildlife department, read some regulations, call your local game wardens and biologists, and really know what goes on, because there is a lot to protect here. Oklahoma is just amazing, and the diversity of it, to really get under the water and see that is amazing.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We want folks to get out and enjoy the creek, to see some new things, especially kids. It's so rewarding to bring kids to the creek, and man, their eyes just light up when they put that mask and snorkel on, and just
Even me still.
everybody likes to play in the creek. And these landowners, you've talked to some of our older
Absolutely.
landowners, they have really strong emotional ties. It brings back memories of childhood and going out summer days on the creek. It's just a really neat place. We're lucky to have this, we really are.
We are, and that's the thing. You start it young. These are lifelong memories you have of one day you were out seining or snorkeling or fishing with your family and friends, and that's something to definitely cherish throughout your lifetime.
So true.
If you'd like to learn more about the fish of Oklahoma's incredible diverse streams, check out Brandon's awesome Facebook page, Stream Things. Now here's this week's Outdoor News Report. With so many incredibly diverse streams in Oklahoma, I guarantee there's one near you just waiting to be explored. Hey, thanks for joining us today. We'd invite you to join in on our conservation conversation on social media. For all of us at your wildlife department, I'm Todd Craighead. We look forward to spending time with you next time right here on Outdoor Oklahoma. up.